My brother and I were reborn on the day we were to marry into the Patterson family. I discovered I could hear people's thoughts. Just then, I heard my brother thinking, this time, I have to snag the good wife first. Then he anxiously pulled away my gentle wife from my previous life, leaving me with a dangerously possessive girl who had tormented him endlessly. I didn't object. Instead, I obediently walked over and sat beside Quinn Patterson. I had to admit this woman had a formidable aura. Just sitting next to her, I felt a chill envelop me, making it hard to speak. No wonder my brother had been beaten so badly by her in our past life. I tried to hear her thoughts, but her mind was completely silent. However, when Paige Patterson smiled at my brother, I heard her think, "What a handsome little darling." A shiver ran down my spine. I instinctively grabbed Quinn's hand. Though her personality was cold, her hand was surprisingly warm. My action made her glance over. I quickly let go, and she said nothing. Even though this woman seemed intimidating, I felt that being with her was better than being with that viper Paige. This life, I was determined to change my originally tragic fate. My brother and I had our weddings on the same day. It was the same in our previous life. Back then, Quinn didn't show up for the wedding ceremony, but Paige arrived early in the morning. Everyone said Paige was the more considerate wife. Sure enough, it was the same this time. Paige, dressed in a white gown, eagerly came up and took my brother's arm. As they passed me, my brother looked at me smugly. "Little brother, why didn't Quinn come to get you?" I just smiled. "Don't you worry about me, brother. Just take care of yourself." My words made his face darken. "Laugh all you want. Let's see if you're still laughing when you get beaten later." After thinking this, he went downstairs with Paige. But it was too early to say such things. Who would have the last laugh was still uncertain. Quinn not attending the wedding made my brother and me, just like in our previous life, the subject of much gossip and strange looks at the ceremony. My brother was even happier, eagerly saying to Paige, "I love you, Paige." Then he kissed her lips. After the kiss, he stared at me, his lips still glistening. I knew he wanted to see me embarrassed, but I wasn't stupid. I wouldn't be like him in our past life, storming off in anger. That would only give everyone present and the Patterson family something to talk about. I remembered how everyone had said my brother was immature and unworthy of being the Patterson family's eldest son-in-law. Consequently, after the marriage, Mr. Patterson never treated him well, making his life in the Patterson household miserable. I took the microphone and smiled generously at the audience. Quinn has a very important business deal to attend to today. I'll be representing her for the toasts later. I hope you all don't mind. As soon as I said this, the chatter in the audience stopped. Mr. Patterson, sitting in the main seat, gave me a look of newfound respect. The Patterson family was large and influential, caring greatly about face and public perception. So, at times like this, as a son-in-law, one couldn't afford to panic. One had to project the air of a man of the house. My brother also saw Mr. Patterson's gaze, and a flash of annoyance crossed his eyes. "Disgusting. I'll make sure you embarrass yourself during the tea offering." I actually thought being able to hear thoughts was a great thing. Having this ace up my sleeve made everything much more convenient. When it was time for the tea offering, I calmly walked towards Mr. Patterson. My brother stared intently at me, mentally counting 1, 2, 3. The next second, I sidestepped to get the tea, and my brother fell heavily to the ground, tea splashing all over him. "Are you okay?" Paige rushed to help him up, but in her mind, she was scolding him. What an idiot. Everyone was looking their way. Mr. Patterson looked furious. "So clumsy. Do you even look like the Pattersons' second son-in-law?" "Sorry, Dad. I didn't mean to." My brother quickly apologized, but his eyes showed his unwillingness. If I were him, I wouldn't cause trouble in this life. I just want to live peacefully. But he didn't want me to have a good life, so naturally, I wouldn't just swallow my pride. Because of my brother's blunder, the wedding ended rather abruptly. Mr. Patterson didn't give him a pleasant look from beginning to end, but when he looked at me, his eyes were full of approval. He even took my hand and said, "Noah, I'll make sure Quinn comes back tonight to be with you, to make it up to you." Sure enough, Quinn really did come back that night. She opened the door and started removing some hair accessories, her face etched with fatigue. I quickly went over to take her coat. Quinn, you must be tired today. She just glanced at me and didn't respond. In our previous life, I heard from the staff that Quinn hadn't returned on the wedding night. My brother had spent the night alone in the bridal chamber, becoming a laughingstock. He complained to Mr. Patterson, but got scolded instead. He was incompetent and couldn't capture a woman's heart. While Quinn was showering, I made her bed and brewed some tea. Then I tidied up the sofa, preparing to sleep there myself. When Quinn came out and saw this, a flicker of surprise crossed her eyes. I quickly said, "You sleep on the bed. I'll sleep on the sofa." "Noah, are you playing hard to get?" She narrowed her eyes at me, dressed in a bathrobe, her collarbone slightly exposed with a few water droplets clinging to it. I had to admit she had a great figure. I quickly averted my gaze. "No, we don't have any feelings for each other. Sleeping together would be awkward for both of us. If possible, I'd like to cooperate with you." "What do you mean? After all, we're just in a marriage of convenience. Many such couples live separate lives privately and just put on a show publicly. I married you just to live a life free of worries. I don't expect any affection." Hearing my words, she suddenly curved her lips into a smile. "You're very smart. That's exactly what I was thinking. I can agree to that. I was just an ordinary person without the great ability or confidence to capture a woman's heart. Besides, in the Patterson family, her attitude towards me depended on Mr. Patterson's attitude towards me. I didn't want to end up like my brother in our past life, targeted by everyone. That wouldn't do me any good. Moreover, in our past life, she had been abusive toward my brother. I didn't want to provoke her and get beaten too. So, I chose to coexist peacefully with her. This life, I just wanted to earn money, start my own company, and achieve success on my own terms. I had Quinn post a picture of our intertwined fingers on her social media captioned, "Happy Wedding." The reason was to make everyone think our relationship was fine. Besides that, I also noticed her social media was very clean. Apart from this post, she had never posted anything else. A person like her must lead a very dull life. When we went to bed, she really slept on the large bed, leaving me to sleep on the sofa. She really didn't know how to appreciate a man. Oh well, I should be content. The next morning, I was woken up by Quinn. She was up early, listening to music while doing yoga. I'd heard that women who were frigid didn't have much to show, but her toned abs and long, slender legs looked flexible and strong. Her figure was much better than Paige's. "Stop staring. I'm not interested in you," she suddenly spoke, getting up from the floor. "Get dressed and come to breakfast with me." She was subconsciously telling me that this would make everyone think our relationship was good. Actually, I felt she was quite easy to talk to. Why did she beat my brother in our past life? After tidying myself up, I went out with Quinn. As soon as we stepped out, I saw my brother and Paige walking over hand in hand. My brother was wearing an open-collared shirt, his collarbone and neck covered in hickeys. He deliberately leaned closer to show me. His face was full of pride as he looked me up and down. He's all covered up. He must have been beaten and is deliberately hiding the bruises. He thought this, then smiled smugly. "Little brother, how was your wedding night today?" I was wearing a proper long-sleeved shirt and trousers. My brother seemed to have forgotten that Mr. Patterson disliked frivolous attire in the Patterson household, and one's appearance couldn't be sloppy, but I had no intention of reminding him. I just smiled. "Brother, according to seniority in the Patterson family, you should call me brother-in-law, not little brother." His face immediately turned ugly, and he bit his lip, unconvinced. "Quinn herself hasn't said I should call you that. What right do you have to demand it?" Then he looked at Quinn. "Quinn, stand up and say something." I could feel Quinn beside me, her aura growing colder by the second. Paige cursed in her mind. "Damn idiot. I'll deal with you tonight." Then she tugged at my brother's hand, signaling him to stop talking, but he was still oblivious to the seriousness of the situation. "Paige, what's the first rule of the Patterson family?" Quinn said softly. Paige quickly lowered her head. "I'm sorry, sis. I'll teach him a lesson right away." The next second, smack, she slapped my brother across the face. "Quickly, greet your sister and brother-in-law." My brother's face turned red from the slap. He was about to explode with anger, but he knew Quinn was not to be trifled with. So he could only say unconvinced, "Sister, brother-in-law, good morning." After saying that, Paige pulled him away. Because I remembered the first Patterson family rule was, no one shall disrespect the heir or the heir's spouse, nor address them directly by name. Violators will receive 30 lashes. And Quinn was the Patterson family heir. I remembered that in our past life, to survive, I had memorized all the family rules. If my brother had married Quinn then, he would have bullied me constantly. But because I remembered this rule, I wouldn't have dared to disrespect him. I thought my brother knew the family rules, but I didn't expect him not to have memorized them at all. So he thought he could still bully me in this life. When we got to the dining room, my brother had already received his punishment. His face was pale, and he kept his head down, not daring to act up for the time being. I accurately caught Paige secretly pricking his hand under the table with a needle. "Bastard, it's all your fault, making me suffer," she cursed in her mind, the force in her hand gradually increasing. In our past life, not long after I married her, she started abusing me and wouldn't let me tell anyone. I wanted to escape, but couldn't, suffering a lot because of it. That's why I'd rather be with Quinn than with her. "Brother, this life you chose your own wife. You can't blame me." Mr. Patterson arrived, and we all stood up to greet him. He leaned on his cane, and just as he was about to tell us all to sit, his eyes fixed on my brother. My brother hadn't changed his clothes. He was still wearing that open-collared shirt. Noticing Mr. Patterson's gaze, he immediately forced a smile, looking very embarrassed. "Dad, it was all Paige. She said she wanted to have a baby with me." As soon as he said this, Mr. Patterson became furious and hit him on the back with his cane. "Shameless. Your intimacy as a couple is your own business. You're not allowed to talk about it outside, and certainly not allowed to dress so frivolously. It's disgraceful." In our past life, a servant who wore ripped jeans was fired by Mr. Patterson. So I was very careful after that. It was precisely because I lived so cautiously that I barely survived in the Patterson family. That's why my brother believed I had a good life, because I married a good woman. But his thinking was flawed. Why did a good life have to depend on others? "Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't know." The blow made my brother break out in a sweat from the pain. Paige also quickly helped explain. "Dad, it's all my fault. I forgot to remind him." Though on the surface she said this, she was secretly pleased. "Serves you right. I enjoy seeing you get hit. TSK, TSK. What a pervert." After all, he was a newlywed son-in-law, so Mr. Patterson didn't say much more and sat down, telling everyone to eat. Quinn didn't say much throughout the meal, but she did put food on my plate. I could feel my brother's angry gaze, wishing he could tear me to pieces. I smiled even more happily. "Thanks, wifey." Mr. Patterson smiled at me with satisfaction. "Noah, after dinner, go with Quinn to the company and learn a few things. As the Patterson family's eldest son-in-law, you still need to learn about company matters." I knew Mr. Patterson would say this because in our past life, he had said the same thing to my brother at the dinner table. But my brother had said, "I don't want to learn. I can just rely on Quinn for the rest of my life." He himself had pushed away such a good opportunity. As a result, when he was kicked out of the family, he was penniless. "Okay, Dad," I replied to Mr. Patterson. Quinn took me to the company. In the car, I kept trying to hear her thoughts, but there was nothing, right? A woman like her wouldn't be tied down by anything. She wouldn't have any worries. After arriving at the company, Quinn took me to her office. "Wait for me here." After saying this, she went out. Through the glass door, I saw her hurry to the conference room. Curious, I followed her. I saw her in the conference room communicating with a British businessman discussing selling the formula of a product he had developed to Quinn. Good thing I did my research before coming. The Pattersons are rich. This product formula is only worth a few hundred. This time, I'm going to rip off the Patterson family big time. I heard the British businessman's thoughts. I looked over in surprise. His face was as calm as an old dog. You couldn't tell he was harboring such devious plans. He quoted a high price of $3 million. Quinn hesitated and didn't respond to him. He struck while the iron was hot, saying, "Miss Patterson, my product will definitely bring you value far exceeding $3 million. Just as Quinn was about to agree, I pushed open the door and entered. I greeted the British businessman in English. Then I took the bottle of skincare essence he had developed and looked at it. Although I'm not an expert in this field, I have studied some skincare ingredients. This only contains whitening ingredients. It can't fight wrinkles or early aging. And you're an engineer. You understand better than I do that whitening is mostly a gimmick. The whitening effect is minimal. So, I want to ask, why is your formula worth $3 million? The British businessman was stunned. Quinn looked at me with interest, not interrupting me. I knew she was allowing me to talk to him like this. So I said more boldly, however, this is a foreign product, and you've promoted it on social media, making the public familiar with and trust your product. So I can give you this much. I showed him a 1 with my fingers. 1 million, the man exclaimed in surprise. Jack, 1 million is already very good. Think about it, Quinn said, staring at him intently. No. I interrupted her. I'll give you 10,000, something worth only a few hundred. $10,000 was my bottom line. As soon as I said this, the British businessman was so surprised. He stood up and said in broken English, Sir, who are you? How can you quote such a price? How am I supposed to do business like this? Worst case, I won't cooperate. It's not like you're the only ones I can sell to. With that, he was about to leave. Jack, I'll give you 1 million. Sign the contract immediately, and then I need you to apologize to my husband. Hearing this, Jack immediately turned back, his eyes filled with joy. I didn't understand Quinn's actions and quickly tried to stop her, but she shook her head at me, signaling me not to speak, so I had to stop. Miss Patterson, you really know how to do business. Jack laughed and then said sorry to me. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were Miss Patterson's husband. Then Quinn took him to sign the contract. After signing, I asked her, very confused, that thing is only worth a few $100s. Why did you give him 1 million? Quinn poured a cup of coffee and said unhurriedly, You have a good head for business, but you don't understand the market yet. Jack's formula itself isn't worth much. I knew that already. What I'm interested in is the brand he created. Although the brand awareness isn't very high right now, the good thing is that it has already made all young women aware of it. If I do a little more promotion, I can earn back the 1 million. Suddenly, I understood. So that's how it was. That's why Jack was so confident. Coming here was indeed the right decision. I could learn things. But I want to know, how did you know it was only worth a few hundred? Quinn stared at me intently. I smiled awkwardly. Guessed. She didn't press further. I took the opportunity to ask her to let me manage a subsidiary company in our past life because Paige had no status in the Patterson family. She couldn't give me anything. I really wanted to do business myself to be my own boss. That way, I wouldn't have to beg anyone. I could rely on myself. Once I earned enough money, I could leave. You're quite ambitious. You're not thinking of getting the company, making money, and then running away, are you? She looked at me, seemingly trying to see through me. Damn, how could she be better at reading minds than me? For the first time, I felt inferior. I, a person with a built-in cheat, was actually no match for her. It seemed this was talent. Of course not. I just want to find something to do. She took a sip of coffee. All right, but you can only go after you've learned from me. For the next few days, I followed Quinn to the company to learn. I learned a lot about interpersonal skills and business techniques. Today, she actually took me out to dinner. It was at the most luxurious steakhouse in Austin. Unexpectedly, we ran into my brother and Paige there. My brother was cutting her steak. When he saw Quinn and me, he quickly put down his knife and fork, looking at me in surprise. Little brother, you're here too. Realizing he had misspoken, he quickly corrected himself. Sister, brother-in-law, you're here for dinner too? The next second, his thoughts came through again. Damn it, why did I have to run into him at a time like this? I can't lose face. Yes, Quinn and I came for dinner. I proactively took Quinn's arm. She didn't refuse. Paige also quickly came up to greet us. Sister, brother-in-law. Quinn ignored them and directly led me to a table. I saw my brother behind us, grinding his teeth in anger. He must be very confused why Quinn hadn't hit me and had even taken me out to dinner. When I went to the restroom, he was waiting for me at the door. Seeing me, he looked like he wanted to swallow me whole. That look was exactly the same as the look he had in our past life when he hit me with his car. You must be getting beaten miserably by Quinn in private. Stop pretending. You disgust me. Hearing his words, I chuckled softly and pretended to accidentally see the needle marks on his arm. Oh, brother, what happened to you? Why are there so many needle marks? A flash of panic crossed his eyes. He quickly covered his arm and looked at me fiercely. None of your business. This is just some fun between Paige and me. But it's normal for you not to know. After all, Quinn probably hasn't even touched you yet, right? Unlike Paige, who wants me all night. I'm exhausted. He was clearly not doing well, but still had to put on a brave face. I really wanted to know how long he could keep up this tough act. Well, that's great. I wish you and her increasing happiness. After saying this, I wanted to leave, but he grabbed my hair. I frowned. He was still a lunatic, just like in our past life. I struggled, telling him to let go. Just then, Quinn suddenly came in and kicked him away. Do you know the punishment for disrespecting your brother-in-law? Quinn pulled me along, looking down at him. I remember it meant being locked in the dungeon. I had been tricked by my brother and sent there once before. There were countless rats, cockroaches, and snakes in there. So, he knew very well what his punishment was. My brother's face turned pale with fright. Sister, I didn't mean to. Don't do this to me. But Quinn wouldn't soften. Once she made a decision, she never changed it for anyone. She had Paige take my brother away. Paige cursed in her mind. It'd be best if you died in there, always causing trouble. Quinn took me back to the bedroom and checked my head. Are you okay? I'm fine. He just pulled my hair a bit. I pushed her away and straightened my clothes and hair myself. But why did you suddenly come to the restroom? I looked into Quinn's dark, ink-like eyes. I saw you hadn't come back for a while. I also wanted to ask you why you got into another conflict with him. I thought about it. I couldn't tell her it was because my brother had been reborn and was deliberately targeting me. So, I told her my brother said he and Paige were very happy having sex every day, unlike you who don't even touch me. So we had a conflict. Hearing this, Quinn's eyes flickered. So, you're hinting at something? I immediately realized my words had made her misunderstand and quickly waved my hands. No. That's not what I meant. I was just telling you why there was a conflict. Noah, have you ever thought about doing that with me? She stared intently at me. Of course not, I answered immediately. I told you I just want to rely on you for a life free of worries. Is that all? I nodded heavily. She didn't say anything more, just suddenly slammed the door and left. I didn't know what I said that made her unhappy, and I didn't want to know. I just wanted to achieve what I desired. The next day, Quinn didn't take me to the company. She let me go to the subsidiary company myself. So, I started to focus on managing the subsidiary. I planned to stop after earning $10 million. I ran projects, negotiated collaborations, and brought a lot of revenue to the company. Mr. Patterson let me take my own remuneration from it. While I was happily making money, my brother was released from the dungeon. That day, I happened to be getting off work and heading home. I saw he had lost a lot of weight, but he had still carefully styled his hair and wore decent clothes. He came over with Paige. Brother-in-law, I've already applied to Dad to learn the company business under you and help share some of your pressure. Paige thought, soon I'll make you and Quinn die together. I suddenly remembered that in our past life, Quinn had died suddenly. So, it was her doing, and in this life, she not only wanted to harm Quinn, but also me. I tried hard to control my fluctuating emotions and looked at my brother before me. Okay, you can come tomorrow. I said this deliberately because I wanted to know what devious plan he had. The next second, he thought, what a fool. Just you wait. Soon I'll kill all of you and live a carefree life by myself. It turned out that a few days in the dungeon had sobered him up, but he didn't know I could hear people's thoughts. How could he kill me? In our past life, Quinn died from poisoning. I suddenly remembered seeing a cabinet full of colorful potions in the basement of Paige's room back then. She often used those potions to experiment on me. Sometimes I would faint, sometimes I would be abnormally agitated. Thinking about it now, those must have been chemicals for making poison. I took my brother to the company and had him start as an intern. He knew how to restrain his emotions now. Whatever I said, whatever I asked him to do, he agreed. I knew the reason he had become like this was because he was plotting a murder. Paige wanted me and Quinn dead, and he wanted me, Quinn, and Paige dead. But just based on the fact that he wanted to kill Paige, I could use that. Soon I took action. Behind Quinn's back, I went to find Paige. I knew Paige very well. She liked obedient men, which was why I had been able to stay by her side for so long before. I deliberately exuded the charm of a mature man and looked at her. Paige, I like you. Her interest was immediately piqued. Brother-in-law, aren't you afraid my sister will kill you? I've always wanted to be with you. I bit my lip, feigning shyness. And I also want to tell you something. My brother wants to poison you. Yesterday at the company, I personally heard him telling another man. As soon as I said this, Paige's face flushed with anger. Is that true? Of course it's true. He said, you always hit him, so he wants to kill you. He said he wants to achieve great success. Thankfully, I had my previous memories so I could completely manipulate them. When Paige heard me say this, she completely believed me because apart from him and my brother, no one else knew about her perverted tendencies. She said, let's see if I don't go and sort out this brat. Brother-in-law, wait for me. When I kill Quinn and him, you'll be my man and we'll be together. After saying that, she left. Did she really think I was stupid? I would never follow her. I immediately went to find Quinn. Although her life or death didn't have much to do with me, she had helped me earn money in this life and had so carefully shared her workplace experience with me. In the office, she was somewhat surprised by what I said. What evidence do you have that Paige want to harm me? I took out a recording pen and played the conversation I just had with Paige. There was a part at the beginning where I was deliberately luring her. It sounded so cheesy even to me. I quickly explained I was just pretending to gain her trust. Quinn didn't respond, but her face darkened a little. I sheepishly shut up. The next second, she pulled me into her arms. A scent of orchid rushed towards me, and I heard her heart beating. Thump, thump. I was completely at a loss. She stared intently at me. Noah, I advise you not to even think about betraying me. As long as you are still my husband, you should be loyal to me. This silly girl. How did her focus shift to this? Never mind that for now. The crucial thing is that your sister wants to harm you. What are your thoughts? Then let's see if she has the ability. If she can't kill me, then she'll be the one to die. Quinn didn't seem to take this matter to heart. That evening, she even took me to a banquet. She said it would be beneficial for the subsidiary's development, as I could meet many clients. I followed her in, feeling many eyes sizing me up. They were all ill-intentioned gazes. Women are all no good. I shouldn't have brought him. Quinn's thoughts suddenly appeared. I looked at her profile in surprise. Her expression was blank, but her mind was thinking such things. And what did that mean? She noticed my gaze and looked down at me. What's wrong? Then she thought again. So silly. I was even more shocked. How could the cold, domineering female CEO I knew say such things? I tried hard to control my fluctuating emotions and shook my head, saying it was nothing. After the banquet ended, Quinn took me home. Paige and my brother were waiting for us in the living room. My brother proactively invited us to eat. Paige's gaze lingered on me. Then she also smiled and said, Sis, brother-in-law, Ethan, and I bought some delicious food today. Let's eat together. Damn it. How could their intentions be so obvious? I really want to know how Quinn in our past life was poisoned by such clumsy means. Looking at the table full of delicious dishes, I didn't dare to eat a single bite. I pulled Quinn's hand under the table, signaling her not to eat either. But the next second, she picked up some food and ate it so fast I didn't even react. And she even said, it's delicious. Let's all eat. As soon as she said this, a flicker of joy crossed my brother's and Paige's eyes. I was so anxious. I kept pinching Quinn's hand, but she didn't move at all. I had clearly told her they would harm her. Why did she still eat? Just as this thought emerged, Quinn and my brother both collapsed onto the table. Mr. Patterson also came out, his voice filled with anger. Men, take these two animals to the dungeon and never let them out. Noah, I'm not as stupid as you think. Quinn turned to look at me. I already told my dad to install cameras all over the house. When we found out Paige had poisoned the wine, we switched their poison wine and replaced both their drinks with a sedative. At this point, her voice suddenly dropped. But you seem very afraid of me dying. You haven't fallen in love with me, have you? For some reason, when she said this, my heart beat very fast. I haven't. I'm just afraid that if you die, I'll have no one to rely on. She smiled brightly. Is that so? After my brother and Paige were locked in the dungeon, I breathed a sigh of relief. These two people I feared most were finally dealt with. Now that I had earned enough money, the next step was to propose a divorce to Quinn. I kept looking for an opportunity, But Quinn had been very busy recently and rarely came back. I could only wait for the right time. One day, I heard from the staff that Paige and my brother had been demanding to see me. I went to see my brother first. His hair was messy. He looked very haggard, and his eyes were full of unwillingness. "How did you know I was going to kill you? How did you know?" The next second, he suddenly realized, "I know you came back too, right?" I smiled at him. "Brother, are you only realizing this now?" Hearing this, he rushed to me in anger, grabbing the cell bars as if he wanted to kill me. "Bastard, you're a good actor. You knew all along Paige was a pervert, right? So you just watched me jump into the abyss. Noah, how can you be so vicious? The vicious one isn't me. It's you." I stared at him intently, at this face that bore some resemblance to mine. He was my biological brother, yet he had killed me with his own hands in our past life. This life, if I couldn't hear thoughts, I probably would have died too. Paige was your choice, and Quinn was also your choice. No matter who you chose, you weren't satisfied, so you blamed me. But you never thought about your own flaws. You wanted to rely on women, while I only wanted to rely on myself. That's the difference. But why? Why can you be fine with anyone you're with? My brother roared. "You see me doing well, but behind the scenes, I've been constantly striving to save myself. So, I deserve all this, and you've contributed nothing, always expecting others to save you. So, you deserve to be like this now." I threw down these words and left. My brother roared unwillingly behind me. "Just you wait. I won't lose to you next time." Arriving at Paige's cell, she was meticulously folding her blanket. She still had her obsessive-compulsive disorder, just like before. Seeing me, she laughed out loud. "Noah, you're very smart, very good at pretending. You know, I actually believed you really wanted to be with me. I was even ready to kill Ethan and Quinn. But you gave me such a big surprise. You deserve this. Who told you to be so vicious?" I glared at her fiercely. Her face gradually merged with the faces from my past life when she tortured me in various ways. The fire of anger in my heart burned even more fiercely. She walked over step by step, looking me up and down from head to toe. "If I hadn't been locked up, I imagine your legs, your waist, your entire body would be pressed under me, and then I'd inject you with a drug that would make you ecstatic." Ha! I couldn't listen anymore. "Paige, you will definitely go to hell." After saying that, I ran away, walking out of the dungeon. I was still panting, unable to forget Paige's perverted appearance just now. But thankfully, I had finally escaped her this life. That night, Quinn came back. She was drunk. As soon as she entered the room, she lunged at me, and we both fell to the floor. "You're drunk. I'll go make you some sobering soup." I tried hard to push her, but she didn't budge, and her hands kept unbuttoning her own clothes, her possessive eyes fixed on me. I suddenly realized she was sober. "Quinn, think carefully about what you're doing. We're just in a cooperative relationship. You're not allowed to touch me." She covered my mouth with her hand and whispered in my ear, "No matter what, you are my husband and I will touch you." I pushed her away. "No, I'm going to divorce you. You can't touch me." As soon as I said this, the whole room fell silent. Quinn's face darkened. "I knew you were going to leave me." When she said this, she let go of me, looking somewhat dejected. "Noah, you're a bad man. Did you forget about me already?" "What do you mean?" I looked at her, puzzled. "Do you still remember, Quinny?" Her words pulled my memories back to my childhood when I was still in elementary school in Dallas. Back then, there was a girl in school who was always alone and wore a mask all day. Everyone always made fun of her, calling her a freak. And I stood up to protect her, taking her to the school's back hill. "You can't be so timid. You have to protect yourself." She slowly looked up at me and took off her mask. "Thank you. I just want to grow my hair out to donate to my aunt. She has cancer." Only then did I see her face. I never expected her to be so beautiful. I fell in love with her at first sight. From then on, I followed her every day, protecting her. She told me her name was Quinny. Later, her aunt passed away and she moved away. All these years, I've been looking for you. It wasn't until the day I could hear your thoughts that I realized you were the person I was looking for, because I can only hear your thoughts. I never revealed myself to you because I wanted you to come find me. I want to know if you still remembered me. I waited until one day I heard your thoughts. You said you would leave me once you saved up 10 million. These past few days, I know I've been avoiding you, not wanting you to leave me." As she spoke, her eyes gleamed. I never expected such a coincidence in the world. She could hear people's thoughts, too. And I also discovered that she could hear my thoughts. So, I deliberately thought those things to confirm it. I looked at her, guilty. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to use you. I was just afraid of being abandoned again. So, I thought of saving enough money and then leaving you. So, do you still want to leave me now?" I shook my head. I wanted to leave her before because I thought she didn't love me and being with her wouldn't bring happiness. It was better to rely on myself. But now, I knew she was Quinny and she had been waiting for me, so I wouldn't leave. I also suddenly understood why she had resisted my brother so much in our past life. She knew it wasn't me, so she wouldn't touch him, right? Thinking of this, I felt her warm lips kiss my face. She said softly, "Noah, stay with me for a lifetime." My eyes welled up. Okay, we'll be together for a lifetime. Thank goodness heaven gave me a chance to be reborn, so I didn't miss out on my